And I return to Christmas in SimCity. Alright. Well, I've been reading again, again and again. There's so much information. Um, let's see. Okay, so I moved the road over here rather than along the side of this bus stop just to make this slightly more efficient, more effective. And what I think I'm also going to do, whilst I've got this simulation paused, I'm going to pull this one out and I will put that in with a subway. So I've been reading a little bit more about rails and subways, and the difference mostly is that a subway is built for passengers, a rail line is meant for passengers but also freight, and so that's one of the other things that is meant by rail is good for industry, because it's actually good for transportation between industrial zones. Unfortunately, the way I've got things built out here, this probably will never ever be useful for anything, and I was actually considering putting a rail station here, just so at least we might have a little loopy here just to kind of take care of this, but I really don't think that that is going to have any kind of impact whatsoever. What with the buses and the subway here, I just don't think that this is ever going to work out. So I'm probably going to end up destroying that at some point, or needing to anyway. But what I actually do want to do right now, and we haven't been asked to do this, but I want to make some connections here, or at least the one connection. I think that this might help a little bit with some industry. We have pretty bad unemployment right now. And I've been going about the tax system pretty much all wrong, all inverse. That's not what I want. So, when there's a lot of demand there, I've been trying to raise taxes in order to try and squeeze some of that out, demand out. But I'm doing that backwards, because in reality, the fact that there's so much demand means that there's unemployment, which means there's too many people. So I need to actually raise taxes on residential and lower them on industrial, hoping that they will start coming in. I still don't have enough space for industry to move, though, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. But another thing also, and this is, so one of the books that I'm reading is a comparison of real-world city planning and all that stuff with the simulation in SimCity. And it is suggested, and I have no idea if this is actually in the game, it is suggested that a benefit of light industrial is that this is where you're seeing things like warehouses, storage buildings, warehouses, and, not so much here, we're still seeing warehouses, but in theory, what you're supposed to have is using light industrial sort of as a buffer between heavy or high-density commercial and high-density industry. Because high-density industry, if it is like a factory, this is where it's supposed to make all the goods that it then takes to the commercial buildings to be sold. And so having storage here is kind of a transfer. Again, I don't know that that's actually in the simulation, because all that I've mostly read has just said that industry, well, both commercial and industry are needed in residential, but residential and commercial also need industry. So for two different things, obviously, the industry is there for the residential is there for the jobs in industry, and then for commercial it's where they get the goods, because apparently there is a thing in the simulation, I've read this a couple times, there's an internal and an external economy. And so the external thing is kind of where the transfer of goods through the market, basically with the neighbors, comes in, and the internal market is where, or the internal economy I should say, is where the needs of your people are being met by your own industry. And so I guess there is a hidden thing somewhere where what you manufacture is being used in your city. So, Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of dirty manufacturing going on. As you can see, we're pretty low in that, and we are mostly an electronics and tourism place, as well as media. So we've kind of gone full tilt into what is in the light industrial, and I'd like to keep it that way just because of pollution. Pollution doesn't seem to be super bad. It's not super bad, but it's not super great either. I mean, it's pretty solid blue right there. So, I mean, I'd like to keep that contained if we can, and we are about to expand further out this way. So, if we can keep pushing for the industries there, that would be better. And I guess the way to do that, by raising the taxes on my electronics, we can see I've got a lot of demand there and a lot of the actual industry itself. So raising taxes on electronics will lower the demand a little bit, but there's so much of it that I'm actually just exploiting it for taxes. Now, if I wanted something, like there's a big demand for textiles and we don't have any, so what I could do is I could lower the taxes for the textiles to get them to come in. However, that is dirty manufacturing. So really, we just need jobs right now, and we are manufacturing an area over here that I guess I'll just keep adding to, seeing as how we've got so much of the demand. And yeah, all right. We'll do that, and then we'll just keep the light industrial over here. Primarily also because of pollution. Apparently pollution in your water is also a thing, and it's a bad thing, and we don't want any of that. So we will just make a little bit of... Do we actually have industry there? Oh, we do. Okay. It's starting anyway. Where are we at here? That is not what I want. Right. So I'm going to eventually get a seaport out here. It is not in demand yet. But let's put this down and there, jeez. And let's have this go and hope that we start getting a bit of development out here. I'm going to have to really work on getting transport. I do have a bit. Yeah, we're kind of stuck on that again. We're seeing a large part of this. Why is that? Not really sure about that. To go back to the whole, rails being good for industrial, what this is effectively doing is nothing, because I ended up moving, the rail over and turned it into subway. So now only people are getting on this train here, because it's actually just subway. So it's like just a metro line more than anything. So yeah, we're seeing now pretty bad industry actually, or traffic in the industrial zone, which is disappointing, seeing as how I've got bus stations everywhere. Like everywhere over here. This isn't doing the trick. So, and we're facing an energy crisis again. I guess I didn't fix that. No, I did. Okay. What the hell? I didn't find out anything about whether this correlates to actual usable energy or just like your total energy. So I don't actually know what we're missing there. It's actually really frustrating. It's all over here. Let me look at this here. So it's shifted now, and it's shifted to this side. I really just don't know what to do about that. It's really upsetting. Now let's see here. Okay, we are inching forward on commercial and residential demand, but we still need industrial, and we're going to get that out here. But I guess we'll just let it keep going, but we do need to fix this, whatever the hell's going on here. How much is this energy conservation thing? God, a lot. A lot. Well more than it's worth. What if I spam some of these guys out here? I can afford 4 more. Again, it's not a matter of water shortage again. Okay. So now let's check you out. 86%. God, I'm baffled at this point. I don't know what to say. I really don't get it. But we need shortage or water, whatever. You know. So we're gonna come out here. Fuck with this. It is almost 2050. And that is good. Oh, Jesus. I wish that tool was more precise. 2050 is when we will gain access to fusion. I am nowhere near being able to afford it, but maybe we can save up if I can get this going here. That is not the right one. Subway Depot. I always get that damn thing wrong. Oh, and it took out the subway line. Excellent. Excellent. God damn it. Subway station, please. Why is that disconnected? I don't know. Alright, well, since I ended up making so much more than I actually needed anyway, we'll just go with it. I paid for it after all. I may as well. Yeah, I'll keep that too. This is so much money. These are all going to need to be powered. I don't know what you want. How does this happen? I'm actually really damned confused as to why this is happening out here. And maybe it's just because it is so far away, but like this is not that far in comparison to when it was way out here. I don't understand.
Simcopter 1 reporting heavy traffic.
And sometimes it is powered and sometimes it isn't powered, so go figure. It's irritating as all. Alright, how's this going? It's dying off out here. And it's possibly dying off because we don't have enough people out there. Alright, let's look at our tax situation here. I think we're going to need to raise that. We'll swap that out. What's our ordinance here? So pollution controls, probably hurting. These taxes here are also hurting, but if we don't have them, then we're not making money, so... well, it's a good thing that we got excellent coverage because we're at 100%, which means we're going to end up having to put another one down here pretty soon. We need more adequately funded grade schools. Interesting, now it's not going in 5 increments now. Okay, apparently we don't have enough schools. We probably have enough college. So, where is the school? Let's actually check this out here. It is filling up, yeah, so I can see where that might be an issue. So I guess that means we put another one out here then.
Heavy traffic.
Alright. Let's put a school here. It's got to be something to do with they can't get out here. That's all I can think. So what if we did... God, this is going to get real expensive real quick. Subway stations are $250. I could put a subway station here, hook it up to that. It's so expensive to do this, though. We need to wait. I just need to stop. Stop building, stop spending. Just hold on a tick. Okay, you. Education services are adequate. Okay. Can I look at college? A+ college? I'm all for maybe lowering that just a little bit more, even. And what in the f*** is going on with the energy out here? I need to pause this for a moment. I need to think about this. So there's no point in putting another bus station here because that exists right there. So if I wanted to put something here, I could put that rail station and then send something right there. So I could surround this with some wind. Just something cheap that I can put out here right now. Because maybe being in close proximity to it will actually help. Alright, we need to get back here. So if we actually look at industry here, what is the major demand in? Major demand, maybe that demand is linked to textiles. Maybe I just need more dirty industry. Welfare rumble. Horrendous lines at Gasberg's welfare office stretched. Okay, unemployment is getting terrible. So we just need to pause and fix that. We need to do something with that crap. I wonder if... I haven't been paying attention to this. There comes a point, just like with the airport and commercial, there comes a point where you need a port or your industry will not grow. So I wonder if maybe that's what we need here. This is going to be very expensive. 1,000? I could afford that. I could afford that too. I prefer that. Let's put that down. I do not know if this is enough to make it grow. I guess we will find out.
SimCopter 1 reporting heavy traffic.
Starting to see the port go. And it's starting to fill in here. So I'm going to suggest that that was what was holding me back. So now we need to think about what I'm going to do here, because I want this rail to come right through here and hook up over here, because we will use that rail as part of the port. And I would really like it if we could actually maybe get this port to go a little bit differently here. But this is not enough. So I hate the idea of putting heavy industry here, but maybe I do need just a little bit of manufacturing out here. I think we probably do, so let's lower this down. We will grab a road. Let's see, how long do I want to drag this port out? I guess if I drag it to here, that can just be a dead end, and there's a little area right there. So then what we'll do is we will turn this down to turtle. Well, let's go ahead and put in the industry so it can start growing. This does not appear to be connected. There we go. Alright, and then I want that to be part of the port, so we'll go ahead and just use that here. Let's take Rail Depot. I really hope this works. I'm so tired of wasting money on this crap. Okay, we'll do a rail now. I'll go all the way up here, and then there, and then I guess I can afford another rail right now. I do not know, I mean, here's another thing. I do not know if this needs to be touched for the freight to go back and forth here, and I do not know if this is long enough. So there's a city. If we go here, we can load cities. There's dozens of pre-built cities in this game that have mixed results. I'm willing to bet that they were all from either developers or playtesters or somebody anyway. But they have very interesting designs and layouts, and one of them is very good and very interesting. Maybe we'll take a look at it at some time, but it's just interesting to see. That's probably way too much. I mean, that's all my money, so let's not do that, and let's wait for another cycle. It's just interesting to see how people have managed to make things grow and get all the systems and the infrastructure working, but they have got rail extending very far between stations. We'll look at that here in a minute. I just want to see if we can actually get something to go here. Let's turn up to llama speed. We got a little bit of demand out here now, so maybe I can put some light residential. Let's go this far with it, why not? Right there next to the school. School is at A grade. We're probably also, if I look at an overlay here for crime, probably going to need that out here. A little bit. Crime is actually terrible right there. So let's see where... so maybe I should have swapped those. Because then if I... Yeah, okay. God, that's expensive though. That's $1,000 just to swap those. But then what I could do... is put another police station out here. Let's look at... It's not that one. Can I look at fire? There's a way to see the coverage, and I don't remember. It's density, crime rate, pollution, land value, firepower. There we go. Okay. What are you doing? Not. Okay. Yeah. So it was. It's about here. So I could swap these, and I think this would be more beneficial over there. So let's go another year here. 6 more months. See what we can gain out of this. Okay. Now we can put this down to turtle, and we will swap these. Maybe that'll help things out a little bit. And one thing I guess I could do too is beautification. It's pricey, but I mean, at some point we're just going to have to do all of this stuff. I don't have a choice. But beautification would start raising land values, which lowers crime, etc., etc. That is not that. Okay, land value is already pretty high. Especially now that port is actually. Turn this up to llama. That port is actually doing some work there. Let's add another strip to it. We'll just add it in strips. In fact, that is recommended. And I wonder if I do a road down here, maybe it'll grow out that way and we'll just have a little batch there. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, we're starting to see some of that going on. That's fine-ish, as long as I can end up making some kind of adequate public transport system to go through there. I really could just make this a junction of all transport. So like if I start putting subways that go directly to here and make subway... So the city that I'm looking at, and we'll look at it here in a minute, basically does 6x6 grids, and it leaves a corner out of each of them. And that is to put things like public transportation in, your service buildings, etc. And it seems to do the job, so maybe we will imitate that. It's just plain old abandoned. How's our sports team doing? Capacity for 25,000. And we've only got 1,500 attending, so... Let's see. Do I dare... Yeah, let's dare. Let's put in a few more of those. Another thing that I am doing a poor job of here is not diversifying. So if we see, I'm mostly using commercial as a buffer, but these people out here are going to need it. And the fact that it is so far away is making it hard for them to fulfill those needs. So really, you need to have about as much of a commercial complex out here as I've got an industrial complex going. Subway is pounded. A Gasburg Council press release this week stated that the city was delaying plans to expand on public transit. We just don't see any need right now. We're getting fewer than 4 traffic complaints a week, and other departments need the dollars. Really? Okay, well, we need to look at that. Time running out. The clock of power is ticking. Soon to alarm all of Gasburg, leaving its inhabitants in the dark. Local vagabonds are buzzing about the terminal state of Gasburg's solar power plant. Okay, so that's a thing coming up. Let's slow this down because I want to read some of the other papers. Grand Poobah occupied. Mercenary shell supply depot. Taxes and pollution. Well, at least taxes are now a bigger deal than pollution, but crime is an issue still. And unemployment still remains there, so we need to be looking at a lot of things here. Unemployment's down to 7, so that's good. Power, okay. Yeah, but power plant. This thing is about to blow, so as soon as it does, we got a year left on it. As soon as it does, we will need to replace it. How's our pollution? It's growing. Ooh, but look at this. This one has actually got all of its stuff treated. Very good. I don't know how that happened. And we got passengers now. Yay! They finally found a use for that damn... I was worried about that. Well, what about you guys, though? Okay, well, this is city-wide. Oh. You know what it is. I bet it's traffic here, because it's a city-wide statistic. I'm willing to bet nobody's using this train. Although, I mean, this is showing that there is traffic there. I have yet to see a train go this way. Yeah, and we're going to have to do something out here. I'd like to maybe get a subway out here. I think we'll have to do that. Alright, well, let's just take a moment to appreciate the city here. It's getting there. It's getting sizable. It is not really growing, though. I mean, 25,000? It's 2060, and I've only got 25,000 right now. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm devoting too much sprawl to the light industrial stuff, or the light density, I should say. And one thing I wanted to look at, okay, unemployment. What's our Fed rate at? 6%? That's still pretty low. Education is 96 now? Health is 65, so that's growing. Crime? Eh. What about, let's look at pollution over a 10-year time. So pollution's been pretty constant. Crime has been pretty constant. Okay. So it's not terrible. Let's go llama speed here. Power, water. Okay. Our water situation's okay, but I'll put some pumps down here. I still have some shoreline here. Another thing I want to do. How much does this cost? 1,000? Let's just wait a minute. What's your advice here? Raise taxes to increase funds. Yeah, I mean, we could. No advice from you. Police, all-time low, excellent fire coverage. Health is okay. Taxes. Taxes are the big one. Nobody likes the taxes. Alright. Oh, traffic. Right, that's what I was going to look at, was traffic. Traffic is low. Traffic is like 6. So, despite what is going on the roads, it is actually low overall. And okay, I guess we had one more year to squeeze out of that. That's all right. Then let's add more to the seaport. I'll leave this here. Yeah. Well, okay. No, I won't, because that's not how you get. It's not how you get people. I don't think people travel within the same zone type is the thing. So what I will need is like a subway here to link up to there. Then I could maybe have another one link up here somewhere. We did have just a little bit of commercial, and I was considering putting a strip here. It's like a strip mall thing. Let's grab some trees. Ooh, look at that. I don't know if you noticed. Dictator infiltrated, disc jockeys, street market. Let's lower taxes. Pause for a moment. I was not talking about this thing growing up. I was talking about I put some trees down here, potentially raising land values, and then this went away. I wonder if I kicked them out because their middle-class home was too expensive. Anyway, what do we got here? Office tower. Hooray. Ooh, what is that next to them? Oh, It's another building, but with the office building next to them, it looked like a huge building. There are not actually that many different buildings. Oh, you know what else we need? We are over capacity now for our library. It's time to have another one of them. Alright, first things first. We have to put this power station down. Yeah, it's going to be a while before I can get either of these, unfortunately. But if we start making 1,000 a month again, as was the budget here, perhaps that will start flipping around, and we will be okay there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and put this in. While we're on a spending spree here, let's put a rail depot here. And let's get this stupid thing out. Connect to the neighbor. Yes. Now, was that actually the neighbor I wanted? Yes, they are... Wow, population varies greatly, but they are actually bigger than us. So that'll be good for our industrial sector, I'm hopeful, anyway. We still have unemployment issues. Although it's down to 5 now. 6. It's down to 6. So it's still not too bad, but there is demand. Let's go look at the demand here. Demand is still in the dirties, but it's also more... I mean, aerospace is also a dense industry, I think. We are heavily tilted to this side. So... Okay, so now that I've got a connection, not so much with the freight, with the rail line there, but with the roads, we should start seeing tourism come in. And what you need for tourism to be successful is things like parks, stadiums, basically everything here. Zoos, marinas, that sort of thing. And you'll get people to come in, and then I guess you get a bonus for your... what do you get a bonus for? Your commercial? Probably your commercial. You know what else I'm going to do? Okay, hold on. We need to look here. Well, I don't have money to look. I can only look. I don't have money for this. But I will look here. So museum is at 40,000, library is at 20,000. Yes, so we need another library. And I'd like to put that over here. I would also like to put down a marina. I'd like to put that... Let's put all that stuff here. It's going to be $1,000. And then the library is also... That's 500. I'd like to put that here. Yeah. So we'll do... Actually, why don't we put the library next to the university here? That way I can maybe... keep this water here, because if I put a marina there, it's going to take that water away from that pump. So we'll push it back. We'll make these into... I guess they could be parks. I'm going to have to move the power line, though. And one thing I was looking at over here that I would like to do. So aside from putting down actual parks for land value, water and trees also raise land value. So you can have an inner city pond, which we're going to try here. So we're going to take some water, and let's turn this into a fish pond. What I mean by that is we're going to make it look like a fish, and then we'll surround that with small parks. We could also surround it with trees. I do not know, I've yet to find information on that, what the difference is, like how many trees does a park equal? You know, how much value does a plot of water add, a square of water add, versus everything else. But we'll see. I mean, that should, in theory, add quite a bit to... Why does it do that? To land value. Ooh. I mean, if that's the effect of that pond, that's pretty damn good. So yeah, we'll be looking at that in future. We need to be thinking about getting some public transport out here, though. This is getting crazy. Alright, I think it's time to push this up to cheetah speed. We're seeing major demands. I guess I could put... I was hoping to maybe keep some of that residential Some of this for commercial. We're not having any commercial demand. I don't know where else to put any industrial. I guess I could put it over here and start another little sector of the town. Other than that, we're going to just start making neighborhoods and put like a little square. Because having huge industrial swaths like this is not a good idea, apparently. Doesn't do the trick. The people of your city love you so dearly, they have thrown a spontaneous parade in your honor. Fusion power has arrived! 2066, wow, that was late. And so has Dr. Lloyd, the brain behind the invention. Dr. Lloyd, who has been making ends meet for the last 9 years by painting houses with the help of the children from his wife's daycare business, was unnecessarily relieved that fusion power undoubtedly took off. My reputation as a painter was chipping away faster than a snail with a fractured ego, the witty man averred. Even without promotion, fusion power is likely to become a part of standard living within the next 6 years, experts think. When you think about it, fluffed one expert, fusion power is really long overdue. Tell me about it. Safe streets. Gasburg ranked 147th in holdup, just below Adana. This makes us the safest city nationwide for holdup. Oh my, are we ever pleased at this pleasant news, noted Police Chief Andrea Xavier. And don't think we're going to stop here. Gasburg has its eye on vandalism as well. Residents danced in the avenues after dark last Monday night to celebrate the low crime rate. Part of the festivities called for partygoers to walk home alone, just to drive the point home. When asked his opinion, the mayor sighed, "I like it." He later averred, "Please don't quote me on that." The incident did not affect two old men playing checkers, but the tragic young biochemist passing by did. Okay. Horrible old age. Residents with old age continue to be prey for unscrupulous purveyors of bogus plates, although incurable old age can be relieved by plates. Okay. Well, so all of this has gone down to 3%. Though that ain't bad. Let's pause here to take a moment to celebrate that. So the reason the newspaper gives is that the people were celebrating because of low crime, but the actual reason, we look here, is that I am over 80% now approval rating. So at 80%, that's when you see them throw parades, which is pretty damn good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's actually look at all the statistics here. So crime, I guess crime has stayed pretty much at that level forever. But if we want to take a look at the overlay, so the moving of that didn't seem to do anything. In fact, if anything, it seems to have made this worse. Because it's now no longer directly there, which means I'll probably need to put a police station right about here. I wonder, well, no, because I've adjusted for that. I don't actually know why then. I don't know why it thinks that crime is so low. And let me just look here. Oh boy, look at that. Passengers have increased dramatically, and I think that is largely because they are out-of-towners coming from here. Again, without being able to... I hate this. I hate that this is citywide, because it is very unuseful finding out what is actually connected and what is not. I do not know if this, for example, is actually doing anything. Yeah, really, really not good. Okay. What else? Right. We were going to go to the neighbor. And by neighbor, I mean other map. So let me just save the city here. And let's open up a new city. I'm going to save your city. Not again. No. We'll go into the cities. And as you can see, Maxis provides a ton of free apps that came, or cities, I should say, that came with the thing. Actually, we were pretty close to right where I wanted to be. But let's look at Lakeland here for a minute. Pause that. Kill the music. Okay. So this is a city of... Too much stuff on the screen here. 37,000. But look at those numbers for residential and everything. That's at super low unemployment. The Fed rate is super low. Power is abundant. Education is super high. Health is super high. It is the year 3575 in Lakeland, but let's pull this up here for a minute. So you see what they've done is they have surrounded a lot of their central hubs here with, in the center of their hubs are water. They've surrounded their water with the zones, but they've also got industry right up against residential. So like people are going directly to their jobs because if you actually look, traffic is incredibly mild all over the city. But they've got a big train thing going out there. We've got fusion here. What is that? Salinization? Yeah, it's a desalinization plant. So this is an interesting hodgepodge, but it's a mix of zones that seems far more useful than what I've got, because they actually provide, like this one, this commercial cuts right through here, so it provides access for pretty much everybody on both sides. Pretty interesting, especially when you look at how low. Now, I guess they do have police right there, kitty corner. But let's see, let's look at, that is density. This is crime. Interesting, because that actually, so right next to the areas they've got that. Land value is not as good. In fact, this doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does do, it appears to be enough to put the bad effects here from being right next to industry, push that back just a little bit, because pollution is low, crime is low, so it's an interesting little setup here. More importantly, it's got huge demands. I'm kind of envious what they've got going on here, to be honest with you. Let me just check out their... Okay, 24% land dedicated to transport. So even with this layout, the road system is not being overburdened. Pretty decent. Let's go now to the other one, which is Happy Land. And this is, I guess, a model city. It is the tiny town. It's got 11,000 people in it. Its unemployment is down. Its Fed rate's kind of high. Okay, it doesn't have anything for health and education, but I think that's because it doesn't have any, if I'm not mistaken. We see one police, we see one fire station. How they managed to do this with only 11,000, I don't know. They've got everything at 100% here. Tax revenues are all at 8%. I don't know if they've got any of that. But yeah, like $860 coming in. And how? I'm not really sure how. Let's see, what is crime like in this city? You know, it could be better. Crime could be better. Pretty decent with the land values, though, if you look at that. Land value is very high on this pointless rail that goes along here. I really don't know what the point of that one is, actually. It seems a little silly. But you've got a rail system here between two residentials, and as we look, nobody's riding that rail. So they just put that in there for nothing. But, zoom in just a little bit here. I mean, that strip of very high land value is obviously because of this. And they've got very tight blocks that I'm not a super fan of, but yeah, traffic is pretty decently low. That's not what I was pointing at. There we go. Well, no, it's not. It's like 27 there, so we do a much better job, but, you know, as to be expected. But anyway, just the fact that it's 2026, and they've got 20 grand in the bank, so I probably would too at this point, since we're pretty close to that date, but, you know, I've been spending so much more, especially on city services. This little map doesn't have anything like that, but what it does have that interested me is no water. There's no water going on in the city. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they manage that. I don't know how you get that kind of growth. So water isn't necessary for the buildings. They don't have to be watered. But I think you need them at a certain point for growth. So I just don't know. I don't know how to explain that. And if we look here, your statistics, 47% is dedicated to transportation in that stupid, pointless rail. Okay, one more city and then we'll go here. I think it was... Well, actually, I think it's a scenario. Let me get out of here. Let's load a scenario. I think it's Charleston. So we're going to have to do an immediate pause here. Turn that music off. Okay. So this place, because it's a scenario, is about to have a bad day, but if we look, turn this off here, we see some interesting stuff going on. They've got a major bunch of traffic infrastructure here, but if you'll notice those rails, they're all industrial. So industry here goes way over here, and somehow this works. Sort of. They got 65. I think that when they do these scenario maps, they're trying to make like the real world actual layouts of the cities in SimCity, so they're not the most optimized, but and then they've got this one, which seems very pointless, going from the middle of nowhere, which presumably is so that people coming in have a connection, and then comes out to this little island of commercial, which is also unwatered. But this is another one, and the only reason I'm pointing these out is because this book I'm reading talks about these as a sort of an inspiration for your own layout. So it points out once again the sort of checkerboarded pattern here, where you've got sort of the strips of commercial kind of boxing in your residential, so your residential has access to them, and then sort of having a smattering of nearby jobs that they can go to. Although this one, more than the other cities, does have a pretty heavily, bifurcated city here, where you've got industrial on one side and the residential is over here. But I think the smattering of commercial all over the place is integral to making this sort of thing work, and we see that the densities are different too. So you got kind of the heavy industrial out there, and as it goes in intermixing with the dense commercial, it gets to light density industry, and then you've got sort of the light commercial in amongst the heavy residential. And then you've got a little bit of a suburb out here. So the suburb seems to be right next to the job. The heavy stuff, the heavy density, is right next to the light commercials. And then, so I think the book says that light commercial represents things like grocery stores, bookstores, etc. And the high density stuff is office buildings and whatnot. So again, without actually knowing what is speculative and what is real, and I do not know if that's actually in the simulation, but it might be. And if it is, then that is kind of where this setup matters, where you've got sort of a buffer and connection of a variety of different zone types. So that might be something I want to think about going forward with future planning. What was the one I was talking about? I don't remember now what city that was. The one that left a gap for everybody, but for the public transport. Because we see a little bit of it going on out here, but the example in this book actually showed it like every other block. Well, anyway, so a little bit of inspiration there, just kind of seeing what the game actually provides, and I'm kind of interested, kind of not, to just go through all of these that are provided just to see what the difference is. Like, what does Utopia actually look like? Home of your deathbed. Oh, right. Okay. So they've got arcologies out here. A lot of arcologies, actually. Turn off signs. There we go. Okay. So this one has got industry around in the ring, surrounded and supported by all of the commercial, and then you've got the smatterings of residential in between here. And as far as traffic infrastructure goes, I mean, look at how many police they've got all over the place. So we've got this highway that's only an outside connection here. We've got what looks to be a circle of rail. They've got a... what is this? A hydro mountain that they've constructed here. It is 6467 in Utopia. Interesting. Look how much tree they've put out here. I'm curious to see what the land value is. Deep blue. So trees, apparently, if you build a forest, does quite a bit for land value. I think it might also have something to do with the arcologies themselves. And these are the expensive arcologies. Alright. Well, anyway. Yeah, so we're gonna pick things up next time, and hopefully I can fix whatever crap is going on with my demands, and I think I need to start building smaller, though, and that is going to be my plan going forward, is kind of the 6x6 or the 6x9 sections rather than a full 9x9, and try and intermix them a little bit rather than just make these big, huge blocks. We'll try and work with this idea of micro district and whatnot. So I will end this one here, and I will see you then.